Well, hello and greetings, friends from the other side. It's time to discuss another one of Zenni's favorite movies. I'm Zenni, I think, maybe. Who knows anymore? Here to once again talk about a movie that I feel most don't remember nor care about. Welcome to the island of misfit films. I'll be your guide. Look over to your left and you'll see Dark City, an amazing movie in which I love, like a lot. Come on down to Dark City and see if you can unwind. What is Dark City? Well, I'm glad you asked.
In a city on the edge of darkness.
What is happening here? Why is everyone asleep?
On a night that never ends.
Asleep now. Who are they?
John Murdoch's search for a past
They set you up with a fake identity.
will lead to a future
You are the subject of their experiment.
beyond all imagination.
We all are.
Dark City, rated R. Now playing.
Dark City, from the director of The Crow, Alex Proyas, came out a year before this other little film. You may have heard of it. It's called, The Matrix? Yeah, kind of an indie underground cult classic, huh? Ring any bells? Well, it shouldn't. It only made like $500 million. It also had 3 sequels, which have all gotten very mixed reception. Then they released an animated anthology movie. Yeah, 2003 was a big year for Matrix content. So, yeah, as you can tell, it was way more successful than Dark City. Way more popular, I can tell you that. Which, I don't know, is kind of unfortunate, I must say. It did a lot for the genre and had, quite stellar effects for the time, but I don't know, I kind of wish Dark City managed to reach the same amount of love. I sort of prefer its subtlety. It also felt slightly less goofy in some areas. Maybe. I'm really burning bridges here today. I mean, I enjoy it, just not on the same level as most fans. Wouldn't call it the greatest sci-fi, personally, but then again, I do typically prefer atmospheric mystery over, stylistic action. So maybe it's just a bias or a personal taste. I hope not. It might ruin my reputation as a certified film critic extraordinaire, as if that was in any good state beforehand.
Sorry, the old Zenni can't come to the phone right now.
Anyways, let's put a bookmark here, and then as we progress further into madness, I'll come back and explain how Dark City is even similar in more ways than just their ideas and concepts. But for now, Dark City is the title that tells you all you really need to know going into it. It's about a city, and it's dark, very dark indeed. Yep, that's all one must know. Really don't need some type of opening narration spelling out everything to you. Why would one need that? Crazy, right? Wrong. Apparently the studios thought that we did, as they heavily suggested for Alex to do just that, telling him he needed to dumb it down.
All throughout production, we had fought that battle because we wanted the audience to be confused at the beginning of the movie.
But it was literally that thing of the studio not allowing an audience to kind of add up the sums as they go. They wanted it clear at the beginning.
I mean, come on, Alex. You really expect casual mainstream audiences, which is all that matters in Hollywood. You really think they're gonna understand the idea of self-identity or dealing with an existential crisis? Heck no, not at all. And another thing, why does the city have such a gloomy World War II era German expressionist feel to it? This is the 90s, Alex. Welcome to the new age. Also, what's with the weird empire of alien bald dudes? I mean, what is that Richard O'Brien right there? What is he doing here? But then Jennifer Connelly is married to some guy who forgets who he was. Why does he wake up in a bathtub with blood oozing from his forehead? That's pretty WTF. Weird the fuck? Don't make no sense to me. All these questions left audiences pretty lost, which is why this movie failed at the box office. Luckily for Alex, he had the ability to recut this film 10 years later into the director's cut, which, while most of the time just means it's longer, slower in pace, and maybe includes a graphic rape scene in Michael Myers' prison cell, here it actually does something good and purposeful, not only scrapping this rather unnecessary monologue, but by adding little in-between shots that help the pacing in a good way, allowing you to sink in and appreciate what is happening in the moment. The D cut is nearly 11 minutes longer than the T cut. Hell, it's so cool it could be an extra 40, I don't care. But Dark City, what is that even like about? What are its secrets? What are you hiding within your 90s CGI that surprisingly still looks pretty good? How does it have like the most amazing score ever? Like, how is no one talking about this fucking movie, man? Well, let's see if my fading memory allows us to. Our story revolves around John Murdoch and his fellow human inhabitants, already off to a great start. We first see John awaken with almost complete amnesia in the middle of the night, just after midnight to be exact. By the way, hope you enjoy murky night shots. This film is for the true nocturnals. It's very subdued, very film noir, but with science fiction and other genres and time frames. And you know what? We'll get into that later. We're jumping way too far ahead. John Murdoch, or should I say Murderock, oh geez, seems to have a bit of a violent side by the looks of a dead body in his room with spirals carved into her. John, why you do this? But maybe it's not John's fault. Maybe. I don't, maybe. Then he receives a phone call from this guy, Dr. Daniel Schreiber, a psychiatrist who, I swear, just can't seem to catch enough breath in every single scene he speaks in.
No, you must listen to me. You have lost your memory. There was an experiment. Something went wrong. Your memory was erased.
And there are many. He tries to explain to John what is going on, but just rushes and breaths out so much exposition that it just makes things more confusing for old Johnny boy. He tells him to get the hell out because the strangers are coming, and since John has seen both of those horror movies and knows how horrifyingly mediocre they are, he gets out of there real fast, let me tell ya. Just in time, too. Oh shit. He makes it downstairs and notices that everyone is asleep for some reason. Yeah, I'm sure that's totally normal. The rest of the time, we follow John's journey in trying to remember what has happened, unraveling the mysteries behind the town and what's going on with the fellow people, why he can't recall who he is, where he came from, how to leave this seemingly inescapable town, why he was framed for murder. Was it really him? Why he doesn't have any recollection of his wife, who is Jennifer fucking Conley. Come on, dude, that has to ring a bell. But alas, he barely even remembers his own name.
My name's Jason Murdoch. John Murdoch. Jake Murdoch. How's it going? Hi, Jack Murdoch.
Odd. But like, what's up with those strange pale trench coat wearing fedora alien people who are hunting John down in order to force him into joining their underground cult since they discover he obtains their power and could be used to strengthen their army to corrupt even more of humanity? Well, you see, the strangers, who start off in the form of a blue parasite spider alien thing, use dead bodies as vessels to control and operate this fabricated town with a false society. A manipulated reality where they use Dr. Schreiber, or aka Dr. Exposition Dump, to conduct all these experiments where every night at midnight, though it's always nighttime so it can't really be noon. But the townspeople don't know that. Their memories are constantly being switched around so much with all these different genetics and personalities, backgrounds, relationships, and then they're injected with this butterfly needle, futuristic syringe device right in the middle of the head. Once this is in effect, the person loses all previous memory from the night before and is given new memories. The strangers gather around and channel the ability known as tuning, which allows them to warp buildings, turning the poor into the rich and the rich into the poor. All this depends on what their life has been altered to be before waking up from this unconscious hypnosis, however the hell that makes sense, and resuming with their daily lives, or I guess nightly lives, but they don't notice anything. or question just what the hell happened to the daytime because they're essentially always being reborn. John, though, has now become somewhat immune to this and somehow has gained the ability to tune. Alright, that was a lot. Now time for some further explanations. For starters, the city is always dark because the strangers are photophobic and also don't like water either.
You know how uncomfortable we find all this moisture.
But they give the humans water anyway because, they need it. I guess we draw the line there. Who needs vitamin D anyway? Must be why everybody's so dreary and lifeless in this movie. Or maybe it's because aliens keep sucking the life out of everyone and injecting them with new ones. Who knows? But why do they do this? Well, you see, they kind of need to for the future progression of their existence as a species. They want to understand the human soul, emotions, and empathy, the way humans act corresponding with their memories. So they test and study all these different ways of switching out and mixing different hormonal chemicals just to see what makes the human race tick. I think the best, most simplest answer to that is politics. There you go, you're welcome. In this world, which is definitely not going to be used as evidence to promote flat earth or propaganda, humans are used as guinea pigs, lab rats, must explain all the symbolism and the spirals. So you can kind of see all the connections with the Matrix now, right? Two worlds that appear to be reality turn out to not be. All of it is simulated and controlled by someone or something. Oh, and the Matrix also took a few rooftop sets from Dark City. Though other than that, the Matrix is much more of a cyberpunk action, high-tech, futuristic concept. But honestly, both use a mix of genres, like the Matrix with action, science fiction, martial arts, and Dark City with mystery, neo-noir, fantasy, and of course sci-fi as well. Okay, and maybe even a splash of horror too. I think there is kind of a large fear explored here with losing your memories, the unknowing of what that even means, the loss of identity or developing Alzheimer's, plus that stranger that took the form of a dead child's body. That was kind of terrifying, right? You can swipe that out of my memories right now, thank you. A key thing with Dark City is that it not only wants to tell a story about a guy with brain fog, very confused and lost, like a stray dog, but it also tries many ways to trick the viewer and throw them off to make them just as disoriented and confused and questioning the finer details.
We fashioned this city on stolen memories. Different eras, different pasts, all rolled into one. We need to be like you. What makes you human?
I think if you were able to find any seemingly glaring plot holes or inconsistencies in Dark City, you most likely could come to the assumption that, well, it must be the strangers testing what would happen in X, Y, and Z situations. What would happen if one guy was framed and set up with the memory of being a murderer? Too bad he woke up before being injected with those memories. But if he was, how would that affect his marriage? What if his wife was caught cheating on John, but all that was a part of the memories that she was injected with? But then we have other examples, such as how would people treat someone who is aware the world in which they live in is a lie, but doesn't fully know or understand what that means or how to prove it, causing him to be treated like he's just gone insane? I clearly connected with this character a lot, if only they knew. And then you get to the finer, less noticeable details, like what's the meaning behind Murdoch's fingerprint being a perfect spiral? Is it symbolizing that he's becoming more like the strangers with his ability to tune and no longer is affected by the midnight, deep sleep, comatose-like state? Why Emma, or Jennifer Connelly's character, seems unconsciously uncomfortable with her wedding ring from John, as if they were just married, even though in her mind they've been together for a few years or so. Technically, she was injected with this life and memory less than 24 hours ago, so outside of her subconscious thoughts, she's only been married to John or led to believe that she is married to John due to her being imprinted, as the strangers put it. The people you meet in this film were either just imprinted or haven't been what they appear to be for very long. Who knows what they really are? Who knows what they may become without even realizing that they've changed? Oh, wow.
Shell Beach is where I grew up? How do I get there?
I don't know. I haven't been there in years.
This film uses a place known as Shell Beach as a distant place or a life outside of Dark City. It has some parallels with The Truman Show, which is another movie from '98. Anyways, the film is about a guy living a false life in Hollywood, which is all too real. Truman is a part of a 24-hour broadcast, which is sort of like reality television in that it's real people being under the control of a bunch of executive decisions. Truman is trying to leave this town and venture out to a beach, which leads him to discovering that everything he has ever known is one big lie. Only difference here is when John discovers Shell Beach doesn't exist, he ends up breaking into the vastness of space. Oh gee, can't quite escape from that. I guess Truman had the better, more practical reveal. Yeah. A lot of this film feels like an early episode of Black Mirror or something out of the Twilight Zone. It has a very comic book feel with its Kubrick-like vanishing points, the use of Dutch angles, the way characters are framed, the minor use of like 2 or 3 colors, specifically luminescent toxic yellow greens and bluish gray tones, lots of shadows, and just the overall cinematography really. Many people assumed when it first came out that it was based on another property, some kind of graphic novel maybe, and yet to this day they haven't done much with that idea and actually producing a set series of issues or something. Definitely would be interesting, and who knows, help this film regain some type of, resurgence. I don't know, I really wish more people would discover this film. I don't like to throw the term underrated around because it's just a matter of perspective of one's opinion, but damn it, this movie is so underrated that it hurts. But for those out there who have been dying to re-explore Dark City and all of its wonders, Alex Proyas announced just last summer that a TV series is in some type of early development. Little news has come out since, mostly rumors, hints, and teasing of certain characters and actors returning, but that's pretty much it. That's all we really know. Who knows what'll all be in store, what it will consist of. I hear that Alex already plans on mixing up different themes and reworking his vision. Not sure how it'll work in the long form of television or a streaming format. I'll stay optimistic. I don't like getting too hyped for these things early on. I might, if it's worth diving deeper, make a follow-up video covering it when the first season drops, depending on whatever streaming plans they have for it. This entire segment is just speculation. We'll have to just wait and see. Who knows? But for now, hope you enjoyed today's strange little video. It's very important for your safety to like this video to help retrace any forgotten memories after midnight. Don't want any of that now, do we? Unless you're really hardcore or something, I don't know. Anyway, see you later. This is Zenni, I think, maybe. Signing out.
Sleep now.